Hello everybody, my name is Greg and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a dream that I had 2 nights ago. Um, I was basically walking in this castle and I knew there was some female spirit that was calling out to me, and I was just looking around looking for her, and I was walking in these different rooms. After maybe 2 or 3 rooms, I was just kind of admiring the architecture of the rooms. I came into this one room that was a circle type of room. When I reached like the center of the room, I remember stopping because I felt this presence, and I turned around and I looked, and right before my eyes, I saw this woman materialize right in front of me, and she was like wearing a black robe. I think she had like a flowery type of a collar that went down the front of her torso. She had like long curly hair, full lips, big round eyes, very friendly, and she just said, "Hi, my name is Raja." And then right there, I woke up. It was I know in the day, it was like I already had woken up and went back to sleep a second time. I just decided, let me go back to sleep for another half hour. That's when I had this dream. So I was waking up. It was maybe like the second or third time I woke up during that morning, during that sleep. But yeah, so I had that dream and I wrote that down, Raja. And then yeah, later on last night and this morning, I was looking up Raja, see if there's any type of a spirit named Raja. So I Googled that, and the first thing that came up was this a Raja Matangi. This is a Hindu spirit who is female, and the first thing that I read was a female Hindu spirit that watches carefully over men's actions. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool, interesting. I'll check that out later. And I went back to sleep and fell asleep a little more, and I checked it. Eventually, I checked it out later. I Googled her again and did some research on her. And yeah, and what it says about her is her worship is prescribed to acquire supernatural powers, especially gaining control over enemies, attracting people to oneself, overcoming the ego. So I was like, yeah, as far as in my life, that really makes a lot of sense because I've been dealing with different types of issues with the feminine energy, and trying to see the feminine energy in a more realistic, harmonious, respectful kind of a way. And yeah, I know I had a visions. I think I talked about it in the video I did before this one on the benefits of mantra. I was meditating on Venus, and I saw a vision of a woman turn into a monster, and she had that same look. She had that curly hair, full lips, round eyes, but she turned into a monster. Scared me kind of. Talked to that with my teacher, the Thunder Wizard. He's on YouTube, and he was telling me about it. Yeah, I have issues with women, probably relating to the mother, since those are the oldest memories of my experience with women are with my mother. And who hasn't grown up in a dysfunctional family, especially in Western society, you know? I mean, we've all been there. We all have our little issues. So these are unconscious points of reference within our minds, how we react to social situations with women. It's an unconscious point of reference. It's like a trigger point of anger, kind of looking at them like, ah, oh, they're all the same. All that is, it's a bunch of bull. It's not real. But opening up and realizing these things, and I tapped into some memories with my mother, came to understand different things. An old memory when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I talked about it in that other video if you want to know the full story. But yeah, that helps to unblock that unconscious point of reference to where I don't really use that point of reference in an unconscious way when I am interacting with women, you know. And it's a really healthy thing, because when you do have these unconscious blockages, it's like a dam in your energy. It's not it's like stopping the energy flow in that area. when you're stopping that energy flow, it's just building up inside of you. All that energy is getting stagnated right there. And over time, that can create disease. It can create anything, just disharmony, just making you feel all off balance and pissed off at the world, constantly blaming everything on somebody else besides you. So yeah, freeing up these memories and understanding them, and knowing that you're not going to use them as an unconscious point of reference anymore is really liberating to the soul, and helps you to perceive the world in the proper way, the way it's really supposed to be perceived. So yeah, this control over enemies, attracting people to oneself, overcoming ego. That's what that has to do with. Control over enemies doesn't necessarily mean like you're controlling people. Like, yeah, I'm going to sabotage this person. I'm going to get him back. I'm going to try to make that lamp fall on him or whatever, you know what I mean? It's more about you've overcome these negative attitudes that maybe someone that's you perceived as an enemy has, and you have that energy frequency match with them. Well, you won't have it anymore once you overcome these thoughts. So that in a sense is going to help you overcome those enemies, because you're not going to attract them to you anymore. Basically, when these people see that they're not getting this type of negative reaction from you anymore, they're going to lose interest in trying to mess with you. So that's what I think that pertains to my life, is what this means as far as the spirit coming to me in a dream. She's also described as an outcast on the periphery of society, which is something I can relate to. I mean, I'm totally a square peg in this society. I can't relate to a lot of the way the world's going. This whole speeded up world out there, and a lot of focus on just money, just period, money, period. No spirit, no soul. I'm going to step all over you to get ahead. All that kind of stuff is things I can't relate to anymore, don't want to relate to anymore. And I don't want to attract those type of people into my life anymore. So there's a lot of there's various forms of this Raja Matangi. One of the forms of her is she is green in color, and that green has to do with deep knowledge. It has to do with association with Buddha, who is related to Mercury, and Mercury is the mind, is the intellect, really, not the mind, the intellect. It's the thing that breaks things down, and you got to figure things out. It's I got a lot of Mercury in my Vedic chart. I got Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So I got Mercury right in Gemini. So Mercury is really comfortable right there. So I can associate with that as far as the intellect, and it has to do with speech too. And this deity is she's green in color, and she's flanked by two parrots, which represent speech. So I could feel where she's coming from as far as that, as far as talking, speaking my mind. I can relate to that a lot. And she's also pictured carrying a veena. A veena is a musical instrument. It's similar to a sitar. It looks like a sitar kind of. It has like this big gourd on the headstock over here, but it's a stringed instrument. But it's got its own sound. But that's her association with music, and that's another thing I can relate to. I'm a musician, play mostly guitar, and has to do with expressing yourself with music, expressing the true spirit of the universe through music. So that's definitely things I can relate to about her. And there's a story too about Shiva's first wife. She was insulted because she wasn't invited to Daksha's fire sacrifice, and but she insisted on going anyway. But Shiva was protesting her, so she decided to transform herself into 10 Mahavidyas. These are tantric goddesses, and one of the Mahavidyas, the ninth one, is Raja Matangi. So she transformed herself into these 10 goddesses and surrounded Vishnu in 10 different directions around him. And Raja Matangi was standing in the northwest. And that right there too rang a bell to me too, because the northwest in the shamanistic practices that I'm learning through the Thunder Wizard, the northwest represents the ascended masters. These are people that were once human, and they transcended. They overcame all of the blockages, all of the experiences within the human that are meant to be overcome while the soul is in the human body. They've basically outlived all of their lives that they needed to in the human experience, and they learned all the lessons that being a human has to offer, and they pursued all those different souls' greatest joys within those human incarnations, and they've transcended out there. They're out there in the stars, and they're before they go on to their next incarnation, they're looking down on humans, and they're giving humans advice. Those who are asking for advice, they're there to help them out. And yeah, this is she's standing in the northwest. That really rang a bell to me. And she's also associated with the throat chakra. The northwest is associated with the throat chakra. This is the realm of speech. This is listening to the ascended masters and speaking that to anyone who's willing to listen. So that's a lot of things that I can really relate to. They're on a synchronistic level, and she also has to do with the tip of the tongue and the throat chakra, which the tip of the tongue is it helps to connect with the third eye, especially when you put it on the roof of the mouth. That's a good meditation to do, is putting the tip of the tongue on the soft palate on the top of the roof of the mouth, and breathing in and focusing on that throat chakra, making a kind of a breathing sound that, I don't know if you can hear that, but when you have that tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, you're connecting the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, and yeah, you're really getting that energy flow. You're stimulating the third eye to open up, especially doing this in the dark, in a darkened room with closed eyes, but with open eyes in a darkened room. You can really start to see energy floating around. And yeah, it really takes you deep into consciousness. And yeah, she's associated with forests, where she walks in and she dwells in, and she attains a lot of knowledge in the forest. And I really love walking out in nature. I try to make a point to go out in nature maybe once every 2 weeks. I spend a lot of time out there, pick up on the vibe. I've had a lot of really trippy experiences with animals and insects and thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk about that stuff at another time. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about these connections that can happen in dreams, and the synchronicities that are going on in my life, dealing with the feminine energy. And then I had this experience, this woman coming to me saying her name is Raja. I look it up. She's associated with watching over men's actions, and with spirits, they're super intelligent. You can't bullshit a spirit, because they know what's up. They know what's up, what you're going to say right before you say it. They're so quick. So this is a really good thing to be getting these type of interactions going on in my life. This is helping me to grow as a spirit in a human body. And yeah, mantra is really important too. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But yeah, if you're interested in getting a Vedic astrology reading, which we call Thunder Astrology, I'd love to give you one of those. I'll put the link on the bottom right here. But yeah, I explain what everything entails in those readings in another video, Intro to Thunder Astrology, or what you get in a Thunder Astrology reading. It's a bunch of stuff, but one of the things you get is a mantra to a planet and the deity associated with that planet. And these things really help you overcome your psychological barriers, and they empower you on a spiritual level. And it's really good. It's really good stuff to have in your life, because it's something you can use for the rest of your life, these mantras, and I really recommend it for people. So if you're interested in getting into reading, I'd love to help you out with that. So talk to you guys later. Peace.